Ever heard of the Empress who took Rome by storm, but not in a good way? Meet Valeria Messalina, the third wife of the much older Emperor Claudius. Young, beautiful, and dripping in jewels, she wasn't just an empress. She was the power behind the throne, but her ambition knew no bounds. Anyone who crossed her, whether a political rival or someone who rejected her advances, mysteriously disappeared. Messalina became infamous for her wild parties and scandalous affairs, the final straw. While Claudius was out of town, she held a public wedding ceremony with her lover, the handsome consul Gaius Silius. When the emperor's loyal secretary, Narcissus, exposed the plot, Claudius was finally forced to act. An order was given, and Messalina's reign of terror came to a swift and brutal end, a cautionary tale for the ages. What do you think? Was she a victim or a villain? Let me know in the comments. In the heart of the mighty Roman Empire, where power was the ultimate currency, a young woman's beauty and ambition sent shockwaves through the very foundations of the imperial court. Her name was Valeria Messalina, the third wife of Emperor Claudius, and her story is one of breathtaking power, scandalous excess, and a downfall as swift as her rise. Just a teenager when she married the much older Claudius, she wasn't just an empress. She was a force of nature, a figure whose influence and infamy would echo through the centuries. But how did this young woman, from a noble family, become one of the most notorious figures in Roman history? Was she a cold-blooded political mastermind, a victim of a patriarchal society that demonized powerful women, or something far more complex? Join us as we unravel the captivating and tragic tale of Rome's most scandalous empress. When Claudius unexpectedly ascended to the throne in 41 AD, Messalina, at around 19 or 20 years old, was suddenly thrust into the center of Roman power. As the mother of his two children, Britannicus and Octavia, she held a position of immense strategic importance. The imperial court was a viper's nest of intrigue, and Messalina quickly learned to navigate its treacherous currents. She wasn't content to be a mere decorative figurehead. She allied herself with the powerful freedmen of the courtmen Narcissus and Pallas, who had risen from slavery to become Claudius's most trusted advisors. Together, they formed a formidable clique that controlled access to the emperor and, by extension, the empire itself. Messalina understood that to survive, she had to be ruthless, and ruthless she was. Her first targets were often other women she perceived as rivals, either for Claudius's affection or for political influence. Julia Livilla and Julia, the granddaughters of Emperor Augustus, were accused of adultery and swiftly exiled, with at least one dying in suspicious circumstances. Messalina's jealousy and ambition knew no bounds, but her ambition wasn't just about eliminating rivals. It was also about accumulating wealth and power. She used her position to orchestrate the downfall of wealthy senators and nobles. One of her most famous victims was Valerius Asioticus. He owned the magnificent gardens of Lucullus, a sprawling and luxurious estate that Messalina coveted. An accusation of treason was manufactured, and despite a compelling defense that nearly swayed Claudius, Asioticus was pressured into taking his own life. The gardens, of course, became Messalina's. This became a pattern. Those who stood in her way, those who spurned her advances, or those who simply had something she wanted, often found themselves facing trumped-up charges of conspiracy or immorality. She sold Roman citizenship, military appointments, and judicial favors, amassing a personal fortune that was staggering even by imperial standards. In the first few years of Claudius's reign, Messalina was not just the empress. In the heart of the Roman Empire, a story of ambition, power, and scandal unfolded, centered around one of the most infamous women in history, Valeria Messalina. Picture ancient Rome, a city of marble and intrigue. At just 16 years old, Messalina, a striking beauty with dark, elaborately braided hair and a figure draped in the richest purple silks, became the third wife of Emperor Claudius. He was a man 3 times her age, with thinning grey hair and a perpetually distracted air, an unlikely ruler who had unexpectedly inherited the most powerful throne in the world. Messalina wasn't just another pretty face in the imperial court. She was a force of nature. As the great-grandniece of the divine Augustus, she carried the bloodline of emperors. This heritage, combined with her marriage to Claudius, placed her at the pinnacle of Roman society. While Claudius, often seen as bumbling and easily manipulated, focused on matters of state, Messalina quickly learned to navigate the treacherous currents of palace politics. She was the mother of two of Claudius's children, Britannicus and Claudia Octavia, securing her position as the mother of the future emperor. This gave her immense influence, an influence she would soon learn to wield with terrifying precision. Initially, Rome saw her as the youthful, vibrant empress, a symbol of fertility and the future of the Julio-Claudian dynasty. Her image appeared on coins across the empire, a testament to her status. But beneath this polished exterior, a ruthless ambition was brewing. Messalina wasn't content to simply be the emperor's wife. She wanted to control the empire itself. And she found powerful allies in the emperor's most trusted advisors, the imperial freedmen. Men like Narcissus, Pallas, and Callistus, former slaves who had risen to positions of incredible power, became her co-conspirators. Together, they formed a shadow government within the palace. Messalina's first moves were calculated and brutal. She saw rivals everywhere, and her method for dealing with them was simple: elimination. One of her earliest targets was Julia Livilla, the sister of the previous emperor, Caligula. Messalina, driven by jealousy and a desire to consolidate her power, accused Julia of adultery with the philosopher Seneca. The charge was likely baseless, but in the paranoid atmosphere,